First chord I'm going to show you today is something called the E minor chord, and it's going to be the symbol for it. We're going to have some diagrams included with these lessons. You're going to have the letter, a capital E with a small letter M next to it, which is going to mean minor. All right? And for the E minor chord, I'm going to take my first two fingers, my index finger and my middle finger, and I'm going to place the index finger at the second fret on the fifth string, and I'm going to place the middle finger at the same fret but on the fourth string. Now, optimally, we'd love to get both fingers right next to the fret, but it's not going to work because I've got the fingers one next to the other. So what I sort of aim for is I get my middle finger kind of as close to the fret as I can get it, not on top of it, and then tuck my index finger in. So my index finger is kind of landing about halfway up to the fret. All right? And when you're playing this chord, you're going to be playing across all 6 strings of the guitar. And so what you want to do at first, once you've got your fingers set and your thumb kind of anchored kind of right in behind the 2 fingers, what you want to try to do is just let the pick just kind of glide across the strings like that. And what that always does is that'll show you whether you're getting a clear sound or not. For example, if I could be playing this chord and think, oh yeah, okay, now that sounds fine. Well, when I go string by string, I'm getting that. And what's happening there is it's just my middle finger that's kind of tilted over and it's just muting out the 3rd string. So what you want to try to do is kind of swing the wrist out a little bit. And that's kind of one of the things that we can do when we've got our thumb set in the spot that we do. We can bring our wrist out a little. And what that'll do then is get sort of the underpad of your middle finger away from the 3rd string. And the other thing that I find sometimes when people are playing this chord is sometimes, of all strings, the 1st string gets muted out a little bit. And all that is, it's just your hand just kind of gently sort of touching the 1st string. So, again, if you bring your wrist out a little bit, see that each string's kind of ringing out clearly, and that's kind of what you want to aim for that. And at first, when you're playing this chord, even as we go on, as you're working with other chords, you always want to at first sort of play that chord string by string and just be sure you're getting a clear sound. And you might find that sometimes it's always the 3rd string that's not ringing out, or it's the 1st string, and when that happens, you'll know, okay, I know what I've got to do to correct that. And if you're finding that it's either the 5th string or the 4th string that aren't ringing out, it's probably just a case of you're not quite using enough finger pressure. All right? So that's our E minor chord. And if you'd like, just take a second and just sort of play it through a couple of times, and then we'll continue on.